Paperback reader. And welcome to Paperback Reader number 8. We start off with this ace book, Look of the Eagle by Robert L. Scott from 1954. The cover is by Vern Tosse. Next is Star of Danger from 1965. The cover is by Jack Gogan. And then we have Jan of the Jungle by Otis Aldebert Klein. Many people figured that Klein was a copycat of Edgar Rice Burroughs, but he's a pretty good and talented writer in his own right. Here, Jan of the Jungle. Jan is a young boy that's kept in a cage with an orangutan, chimpanzee-like, by an evil mad scientist, and he escapes. Now, these books are the Professor Jameson series. There's 5 of them. The first one is The Planet of the Double Sun. These are by Neil R. Jones. They first appeared in pulp magazines like Amazing Stories. So, the Professor Jameson, he's not expecting much for an afterlife, so he has his body shot into space, and there it orbits the planet for 40 million years. And a group of robots come by and find him well after the Earth has stopped rotating, and they rescue his brain and put it into a robot. So Professor Jameson has little space adventures with these other robot buddies of his. And they also used to be humanoid or men like him from various planets. So this is book number 2, The Sunless World. These covers, by the way, are by Gray Morrow, all 5 of them. So if you're a fan of Gray Morrow, you might want to pick these up. I have read the first 2. And although they're good, I'd kind of rather read somebody like Edgar Rice Burroughs myself. But it's not too bad. That's not exactly a glowing endorsement of it, but they're not too bad. The covers are dynamite. Early on, Professor Jameson, after he woke up and he found out that they had put his brain inside a robot, he toys with the idea of plummeting off of a cliff to shatter the robot head and basically terminating his own life, but he soon comes to realize that he might as well make a go of it. So, and because of that, you get to read about his adventures. Here's book 5, Doomsday on Agiat. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Another great cover by Morrow, 1967. And When the Sleeper Wakes, written way back in 1899 by H.G. Wells. This, of course, is a 1963 version of that. Cover is by Ed Emshwiller. A man goes into a coma in 1897, and there he doesn't wake up until the year 2100, and he finds out he's the richest man in the world because well, the interest on his bank kept on piling up, and so he has to then wonder what to do with this futuristic world that he now owns most of. Here's The Brain Stealers by Murray Leinster, 1954, cover by Ed Emshwiller. The hero of this story discovers that somebody is wiping out people's brains, probably by making them watch the Today Show on NBC. And with that, he has a whole group of mindless puppets that he can order around. Now, this story, Ada, by Francis Bellamy. This poor guy gets shrunk down into the land of ants, and he has to befriend one ant as they take on the other vicious insects of the insect world. This might be where they got Honey, I Shrunk the Kids from. I don't know. But there it is. Beautiful spine. Ace D79. And Ace in the Hole Haggerty. Interesting little western here by Mr. Hankins, 1950. Haggerty is a rough and ready guy he's wanted by everybody. And they show you the original cover of Ace in the Hole Haggerty, so you can be on the lookout for that. Here is The World of the Masterminds by Robert Moore Williams. 1950 covers by Ed Valigersky. This man must search the entire galaxy to find a lost race because he suspects and hopes, it's quite the gamble, that they have a weapon that will help him defeat the enemy. So this is D427. If you like Robert Moore Williams, you might want to pick this one up, because on the flip side is also Robert Moore Williams, To the End of Time, and other stories. I believe Mr. Williams wrote about over 150 novels and short stories. This cover is by Ed Emshwiller. Here's Renegade Guns by Robert Hogan, by that great artist, uncredited once again, 1952. There's even art on the back of the cover. So if you should ever figure out who drew both covers or the interior front page here, let me know. The Horn Crown by Andre Norton. I must have more Andre Norton books than anybody else. 1981 cover art by Michael Whelan. And there'll be too much glare on this shot pretty soon because I'm wanting you to know that lettering, the title, was kind of embossed, or I don't know what the process is, but and there you can kind of tell it's real shiny. Here's another ace double western, The Wild Quarry, by Giles A. Lutz, 1961, cover by Gerald McConnell. And on the other side, The Winter Drive, by William Hobson, 1961. And the great cover artist, uncredited, is at it again. He's really outdone himself this time. Here is Gunhawk, Earnswell, by Leslie Earnswine, 1953. Now, I'm probably going to be a little unkind to the publisher based on their name, really. As graphic man, I happen to notice that the words like graphic and a company called Graphic Books ought to have a lot of graphics. So I'm being unfair here. But I decided to thumb through this to show you all those high detail graphics they have. Yes, I am being kind of a jerk about it, but I just get a kick out of something calling itself a graphic book or a graphic line of books. Although I guess maybe you could say the words inside are graphically spelled or something, but I know I'm being unfair. Here's Goat Island by William Fuller, 1954. This is a Dell publisher. And I'm going to get in real close to that shack she's looking at, so you'll see there's somebody in it. And I thought this was an interesting back cover. Here's the author, and they're pointing to things. Here's his name, and here's what we've done, and here's what he's done, and I guess it was the style. And The Edge of Time by David Grinnell, 1959, cover by Ed M. Schwiller. And the 100th millennium. When it's the 100th millennium, you have to celebrate. It's much better than the 99th or the 98th millennium. You gotta kind of go all out for the 100th millennium. And The Forgotten Planet by Murray Leinster, 1956. Cover by Robert E. Schutz. Now, I had this as a single, but couldn't resist getting the ace double of it as well. And The Contraband Rocket by Lee Corey, 1956, cover by Ed Valigursky. And The Planet of Exile by Ursula Le Guin, 1966, cover art by Jerome Podwell. Now, this next one, you need to think about what would it be like if Hank McCoy the Beast and Edgar Allan Poe got together. He would look something like this. Mankind Under the Leash, 1966. Cover art by Kelly Freas. And it's Alpha Centauri or Die by Lee Brackett, 1963. Cover art by Jack Gauguin. Jack could really do some weird angles and perspectives. Here's Legend of the Lost Earth, and I'm pointing out that it's got a scuff mark on it. Probably a lousy sticker, some price sticker. This is by G. MacDonald Wallace. And The Ship That Sailed the Time Stream. G.C. Edmondson, 1965. Cover art is by Jack Gauguin. And Stranger Than You Think. G.C. Edmondson, 1965 again. Cover art by Jack Gauguin. Here's The Celestial Blueprint by Philip Jose Farmer. Cover is by Ed Emshwiller. This is from 1962. And on the other side is another story by Philip Jose Farmer, The Cache from Outer Space. Covers by Ed Emshwiller. Here's another Andre Norton novel, Huon of the Horn, from 1963. The cover art is by Jack Gauguin. And this is Ace F226. Very nice condition. Up next is a Ace double that's all about the moon. The first side is Men on the Moon, covered by Ed M. Schweller. It's 1958. These are various stories with various authors. And the editor of this volume would go on to have his own publishing company called DAW, based on his initials, DAW. So on the flip side, you have City on the Moon by Murray Leinster, covered by Ed M. Schweller. And The Towers of Turan, another Samuel R. Delany from 1964, covers by Ed M. Schweller. Very bizarre cover. Ace F261. And on the flip side, The Lunar Eye by Robert M. Williams, cover by Ed Valigursky. And I'll try to go in real close here so you can see it all. Fools and Their Folly by W. Somerset Maugham. He made his original book in 1945, I believe, so this is a retitling of it, 1949. And it's about the Italian Renaissance. Because as you can see, Graphic Man dares to be different. Now, unfortunately, it has some little writing on the back, but great image of William Shakespeare there in character form, always nice. And Murder is Cheap, Anthony Gilbert, 1949, covered by Robert Stanley. You know, guys, when you first put your arm around a girl, it's kind of a little awkward and a little nerve-wracking, so you just really got to practice at it to get it down pat. This is by Bantam Books. And The Man Who Was Morgan by Gene Olson, 1960, covered by Gerald McConnell. Another great Ace double western. D470, pretty good spine, not too bad. And on the flip side, The Maverick by Ben Smith, covered by Rudy Nappy. And finally, a book titled after my life story, The Savage Gentleman by Philip Wiley, 1951. There is no cover art credited. Great little book by Avon. And The Buzzard Guns by Philip Ketchum. 1960, cover by Gerald McConnell. Now, you know I have a lot of Ace books, the D series, the F series, the G series, the M series. This is my first in the T series. And they're going to kill you. And if I found that out, I would probably just get out of town. But Before It's Too Late by Stuart Palmer, covered by Willard Downs from 1952. Somebody has been guilty of murder and they're trying to make it look like an accident. This is one of those Dell map books. Some guys really collect these. They'll show you a map of locations that are mentioned inside the story. I thought this was a nice little inside dust jacket. See the blue, and the blue edge paper. Pretty nice. The Houses of Ism by Jack Vance. 1964, covers by Jack Gauguin. Very bizarre cover. Ace F265. Now on this side's another Jack Vance story, The Son of the Tree. This time the cover is by Jack Gauguin. And The Wrecks of Time. Michael Moorcock, 1967, cover by Jack Gauguin. And on the flip side of that, The Trampontine by Emil Pataja, 1967, covered by Jack Gauguin. Jack does some really interesting art. It's kind of out there a little bit. And The Lurking Gun by Louis Trimble, 1967, covered by Saul Corby. This is a great Ace double western when they were using the lowercase a as their symbol. And the green and blue border background spine. Here's Dead Man Canyon, also by Louis Trimble, covered by Gerald McConnell. Start off at the top, showing you the canyon. And Head of the Mountain by Ernest Haycox, 1952. The cover is by the great and talented uncredited I'm sure they're arguing over something very important. This is by Popular Library. Eagle on His Wrist by Homer Hatton, 1953. No cover artist information could be found. It's a Fawcett Gold medal. And The Ginger Star by Lee Brackett, 1984. Covered by Boris. This is book number 1. And I have book number 2 coming up right after this one. Have not started this yet, but looks very promising. It's by Del Rey. And here is book 2, The Reavers of Skaith, also by Lee Brackett, 1984, covered by Jim Steranko. And I'll try to get in real close so you can see the background details. And now for some humor. This is Funny Business, 1955. I think a lot of these appeared in the Wall Street Journal. It is 100% office humor. And here's a gentleman introducing his wife to his secretary, and he accidentally calls the secretary dear. Great little amusing read. And The Big Corral by Al Cody, 1951, covered by John Kirk Wilson. Another popular library. And here's A Bullet for Billy the Kid by Nelson Nye, 1950. Cover by James Bama. I thought I'd get real close to see if we can't see that portrait in the background of the lady at the saloon, but it's about as good as it gets. It's an Avon book. And here's Kelvin by Neil Barrett Jr., 1970, covered by Jim Steranko. By Lancer Publications. And here's Bronk Buckaroo. I always thought the spelling of Buckaroo would be a little different than that, but that's how they spelled it. It's an Avon book. Here's that crazy picture of William Shakespeare. And Subspace Explorers by E.E. Smith, sometimes known as Doc Smith, 1968, covered by John Schoner. And I noticed they have three fingers. Pretty weird looking. This is H102. And The Wagered World by Lawrence Janifer, 1969, cover by Jack Gauguin. If it's Jack as the artist, you know it's going to be weird and creepy and full of perspective, and I don't know if drugs were involved, but that's probably a good guess. And here's Tonight We Steal the Stars, written by John Jakes, 1969. The cover is by Kelly Frias. And only till I zoomed in did I notice there was a guy inside his head looking out at you. Now here's Amazing Stories from December 1942. This is a Graphic Man reproduction. My latest. Some of you know I've made over 100 of these. The cover art is by the great J. Allen St. John. And I'll try to show you one of St. John's interiors for that story. And then there were various other artists as well. So if you'll bear with me as I hunt in vain to find the pictures. Of course, the pressure's on to find the picture right off the bat, but I will. Here's some other pictures for other stories. So I believe my last total was I was at 112 of these amazing stories. And as you can see, I give myself a lot of gutter space when I print them out because I want to be able to read it without really breaking it or bending it or causing a lot of spine damage. And it's always so satisfying and pleasing when you make one. So here's the back cover. Some great James B. Settles art. This is Glider of Ganymede. And finding a good back image is always very difficult, but when I find them, there's always wrinkles and creases, and so I can smooth those out with my graphics. And of course, for Jackson Roykirk, I show you the spine, and I make all mine have similar spines, so they look kind of the same on the old bookshelf with my other pulps that I've reproduced. And there it is, from 1942. So we're deep into World War II at this point. And that leopard's going to have a little bit of heartburn. Here's another ace double, The Double Invaders by John Brunner, 1967. Cover is by Ed Ermoyan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ed Ermoyan. This is G623, and on the flip side, These Savage Futurians by Philip E. High, 1967, cover by Gray Morrow, who was a fabulous illustrator. And Life with Lancelot by John T. Philippant. Takes me a second. 1973, cover by Ed Valigursky. And on the flip side, Hunting on Thunderer by William Barton, 1973. Cover is by Harry Borgman. He is a Borg man. And The Inheritors by A. Bertram Chandler, 1972. And boy, did he ever buy a bunch of green paint. The Gateway to Never. When are we going to get there? Oh, never. By A. Bertram Chandler, 1972 again. I believe this gentleman, is going to get shot in the back as he runs away. But I'm not sure. I haven't read it. Here is Technos by E.C. Tubb, 1972, cover by Harry Boardman. So about this time, old Harry was getting some work. And there's Superman. When they quit using the letters in the sequence, they just used a 5-digit counting at near the end. A Scatter of Stardust, also by E.C. Tubb. And Lalia by E.C. Tubb, 1971. Cover is by George Barr. The 5-digit code. And on the flip side, Recoil by Claude and Rhonda Nunez, 1971. Cover by Kelly Freas. And The Mutant Weapon by Murray Leinster, 1971, covered by Dean Ellis. And The Pirates of Zan by Murray Leinster, 1971, cover by Gil Cohen. Ace had done both of those stories earlier, but they had different covers. Here's The Veiled World by Robert Lowry, 1971, covered by W. Stradisky. And on the flip side, The Hard Way Up by A. Bertram Chandler, 1972. Cover is by Kelly Freas. Weird, wild stuff. Here's The Planeteers by John W. Campbell, 1966. Cover by Jack Gauguin. Ace G585, and on the flip side, The Ultimate Weapon, John W. Campbell, 1966, covered by Gerald McConnell, 1966. The Singing Stones, live in concert. It's by Juanita Poulsen, 1968, cover by Kelly Freas. You wouldn't want those guys flying over just if you wash the car. This is H77. And Durai by E.C. Tubb, 1968, cover by Jeff Jones. And The Age of Ruin by John M. Fawcett, 1968, covered by Gray Morrow. Ace H103. And on the flip side, Code Duello, Mac Reynolds, 1968, cover by Kelly Freas. We've got another Code Duello coming up, but we'll hold off on a second so we can get a good look at this one. So here's that other Code Duello as we remove the other one. It's basically the same picture by Kelly Freas. They just in a smaller area. And on the flip side, Computer War by Mac Reynolds, 1973. Cover is by Ed Valagursky. And here's another copy of Computer War. This one from a few years earlier. Once again by Mac Reynolds. This is the 1967. And we have Death as a Dream. Absolutely wild. Here's City of a Thousand Suns by Samuel R. Delany. 1965, cover by Jack Gauguin. This is Ace F322. And The Dark Intruder, 1972, cover by Kelly Freas, and we'll be showing you another Dark Intruder here in a minute. As you can see, this is why I lined these books up in this order. Here at Graphicville, we try to do things orderly. Here's the Falcons of Narabella, and we'll show you this copy of that. And you'll notice this also has The Dark Intruder. Now I'll determine which one I want to show you first. Let's do the Falcons of Narabella, 1964. Everyone needs a Flash Gordon costume like this guy. And The Dark Intruder, cover by Kelly Freas, 1972. And here is The Big Planet by Jack Vance, 1967, covered by Ed Emshwiller. Some of you in the past might remember about 3.5 years ago, I turned that character into Jambo Comics for an episode of the Four Color Fossils. In fact, I think I even sent a copy of this book to Jambo. This is HG 661. And The Thief of Larn by Gardner Fox. 1966, cover by Gray Morrow. Gardner Fox, of course, you'll remember from DC Comics. Ace F399. And The Time Axis by Henry Kuttner, 1965, cover by Alex Schomburg. This is Ace F356. And The Seed of the Dreamers by Emil Pataja, 1970. Cover is by Gray Morrow. And now for something totally wild. It's The Blind Worm. Brian M. Stableford, 1970, cover by Jack Gauguin. At this point, it goes without saying that that's Jack. And To Conquer Chaos by John Brunner, 1964. The cover is by Ed M. Schwiller. Very ominous. F277. I sure hope they can conquer this chaos. And The Wizards of Centuria by Kenneth Bulmer, 1969. Cover by Kelly Freeze. Pretty weird. And on the flip side is Cradle of the Sun. Brian M. Stableford, 1969. Cover is also by Jack Gauguin. Look at this great Pegasus. And Thongor of Lemuria by Lynn Carter, 1966, cover by Gray Morrow. And if you're a Marvel comic fan back in the 70s, you recognize Thongor. Great stuff, F383. I already showed you Wizards. Here is Dark of the Woods by Kuntz. I am not familiar with this author. Soft Come the Dragons, also by Kuntz, covered by Jack Gauguin from 1970. And Secret of the Lost Race by Andre Norton, 1972, and the cover is uncredited, but it's a pretty cool cover. And let's end it on the thumbnail image from at the beginning of this episode. Murder Listens In by Elizabeth Daly, 1949. And that cover is by Harry Scher. And I want to thank you for watching today's episode. It's a lot of fun to put these together. And I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. And just popping in here to let you know that Graphic Dog will be seen. It's a little 2-minute video movie. It'll be premiered by Ghostwriter and myself upcoming. And I hope you get to check that out and enjoy that. I will do another Ghostwriter episode. Um, he's been chomping at the bit to get back on camera. So uh, the way StreamYard goes, you'll hear this music kind of try to stop and start a few more times. But that's it for the night. I thank everybody for popping in and showing up, and it's great to see you all. And thank you as always. So be on the lookout for that. The next episode will be Ghostwriter. I'm already making Paperback Reader number 9. I got some good ones that have just come in recently. So anyway, with that, we will pull the plug. I thank you all so much. It was good to see everybody. Hello, Spinner. And yeah, Spinner, I will show sometime how I put a wrap around some of these paperback books, because I like the bags, but I don't like that seam. Speaking of bags, let's see here. I will show you this. One bag I received in the mail had this weird emblem on the back, and I thought it was the back cover of the book, but no. Here's the back. It's some sort of sweet corn from a farmer's market or something. And I think somebody took one look at that and said, I bet I could put a paperback book in there. Well, you can, and somebody did, but I will try to do a little better job than this, but I just thought that interesting. So if you're needing bags, you might check out your grocery store or market. So we'll say goodbye to everybody. Let's see, happy trails, everyone. Look for Ranger to join me sometime in September. We will look at a lot of Western comics, quite possibly with Dr. Silver Age. We have that kind of down the road on the back burner. Asked about the plastic. Yes. So anyway, basically, some of these smaller books, like the Ace doubles, you can turn sideways and put into a Silver Age poly bag, and I cut it just right and then wrap around the spine, and so using invisible tape, so it's pretty seamless, and I like that because then it looks good on your shelf. But and you're probably not supposed to see the 4th issue of Gabby Hayes' romance behind me, so be looking for the next Ghostwriter episode, and we will say happy trails and happy drawing, and or maybe even in August. Okay, yeah, good. We'll keep everybody updated. So that is all. Have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.